Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Naz. I hope that you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing before you leave. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to do something different. Lately, I've been very focused on getting my base right, just for it to look more natural and more flawless, and to see what works for me in terms of foundation, products to use underneath the foundation, and everything like that. So it's been a lot of trial and error, but I just wanted to share with you guys some of the tips and tricks that I've learned. Now, I'm not a makeup artist, but I have spent a lot of time doing my makeup and just really trying to nail down what works best for me. Before we go ahead and get started, I wanted to talk about what my skin is like first, so that you have an idea of what works for me. I try to adjust throughout this video what might work better for your skin type. So my skin type is combination. I have very oily T-zone down here on the sides of my nose, and then I get very oily up here on my forehead, and then I have very much normal to dry skin all over my face, on my cheeks, and I do tend to get very dry flakes right here. So it's very odd because it will get oily here and then I will have dry flakes right here underneath that section. So if you're interested in how to make your foundation look very natural and flawless, then keep on watching. So the first step into getting your foundation to look very natural and flawless is to make sure that you get your base right. So before you even put the foundation on, how you prep your skin and make sure your skin has all the products it needs is very important in how the foundation will sit on top of your skin. So I always make sure to start with clean face. I don't always use cleanser every time I do my makeup. Sometimes in the mornings I don't even wash my face with a cleanser, I just use water. And sometimes I will use micellar water. If it's in the middle of the day, I will just use a cotton pad and micellar water and just wipe it on my face, and I will either wash it off or just leave it as the way it is if there isn't a lot of residue already. And this just makes sure you don't have any residue or oils that is sitting on top of your skin that might interfere and mix with your foundation when you put the foundation layer on top. And you also want to make sure you buff away any skin flakes or just the dead skin cells that might be sitting on top of your skin. And you can also exfoliate your skin, and that will definitely help, but I tend to stay away from that because over exfoliating could be an issue. It could really mess with your skin barrier and could actually make your foundation look worse if you end up with a drier skin and dry patches all over your face. So be careful with exfoliating. It's recommended to do it once or twice a week, but not every time you do your makeup if you're doing your makeup every day. Then many times I will jump into my normal skincare routine, and I try to keep things very simple. I usually just use a vitamin C serum in the mornings and just put a moisturizer on top or sunscreen. And that's basically it. So throughout this video, I will mention that depending on your skin type, your skin might need different products. If you have very oily skin, you want to hydrate your face with a lighter moisturizer. I have some dry areas, so I can get away with using a thicker moisturizer. In this video, you'll see I'm using the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, which is a very thick primer which also moisturizes your skin. It's great before foundation. Other products I also like to use is the moisturizer by Peter Thomas Roth. I believe this is the Water Drench Hyaluronic Cloud Cream Moisturizer. I love using this before foundation as well. And you can see that I am out of it already. So I need to grab myself another one. And I think that no matter what your skin type is, it's just very important to moisturize. Even if you have oily skin, you have to moisturize your skin. And hydrating and using a primer just helps the foundation really sink into your pores rather than just sitting on top of your skin. And you'll see that I do the same thing for my under eyes. I like to go in with the Vitamin Enriched Eye Base from Bobbi Brown, as I showed you guys in the video. And this one is just very nice moisturizer. It's not too heavy for your under eyes, but it just really moisturizes the area and gets it ready for concealer so that you don't have dry patches. And I do have very dry under eyes, so I really need to use something, and this has been great for me. Another alternative that I also like is this Olay Henriksen Banana Bright Eye Cream, which is another great option and also kind of brightens your under eye as well right before the concealer if you need a little bit of that pick-me-up. The next step is applying the foundation. The products you layer on top of each other is very important. So if you're using a water-based moisturizer or water-based primer that doesn't have silicones or oils in there, make sure you're going in with a water-based foundation. So I know that some of this could be just too much work, and trust me, it took me a lot of trial and errors because I would have a lot of times peeling underneath the foundation, and usually that means you used a product underneath that didn't really mesh well with your foundation. So if you have oil-based foundation, then make sure you're using oily primers underneath, or silicone-based, and make sure you're using silicone-based primer underneath, and you'll kind of try and see what works for you. For me, I really like the Bobbi Brown with the Pat McGrath foundation. That's what I use today. Another thing is to make sure you're not just layering a lot of foundation at once. You want to take it slowly, layer little by little, and just go building up instead of piling all of it at once. And I do like watery foundations because I find that they sink into my pores a lot better and look more natural, while this one from Pat McGrath still gives me the coverage I need. So the tool you use to apply your foundation also matters, and I actually like to go in with a brush first, which really gives me the coverage I need and distributes the product evenly before I go in with a sponge. And make sure to go in with a damp sponge, and I like to use the sponge to just really push the product into the pores and just make sure that everything is seamless and there are no brush strikes or anything like that. Make sure you're not swiping the product even when you are using the brush. Just kind of dab in to your face and really push the product in, because if you're swiping, it just moves the product around and it's not really giving you the coverage you need. Try to use the least amount of foundation as possible. I understand sometimes we all need more coverage, but just going all at once will make you look very heavy. I also like to make sure that I start with the places that I need more coverage. So when I apply the foundation on the back of my hand, I will usually take my brush and I will dab in and then first go on to the zone of my face that I need more coverage. So usually my T-zones here, if I have any blemishes, my chin and my forehead. And then I will kind of distribute the product outwards. We will usually start inward in my face and kind of go out, brushed foundation outwards. Places that I need less coverage and aren't very visible. And then for concealer, it's basically the same idea as foundation. You just want to put it in the spots you need. I like to go in with Corrector first. This is by Becca, and I believe Smashbox has picked this product up, so it's not going away anywhere soon. I like to cover a little bit of my dark circles underneath before I go in with concealer. I am using my beloved Tarte Shape Tape Concealer here and just putting it under my eyes, and then also putting it in some of the areas I'd like to brighten and kind of lighten up a little bit. I'm doing a little bit of a reverse contour on the nose as well. And just putting a very light layer, not piling it on, and I will go in with a bit more concealer if I need it. The next important thing is how you're going to powder your face. Now, I know powder could be scary for some people that have especially dry skin, but don't be scared. It's not going to look cakey. If you're adding it the right way, it's still going to look natural and flawless. And using powder really does help making your makeup last longer. I personally need to add powder to my T-zone because I will get very oily there throughout the day, and it will break up my foundation and just make me look like a mess. I do avoid baking, especially under my eyes. My T-zone could handle it a little bit, but again, I want this to look very natural, so I'm not going to pile on a bunch of powder. For under eyes, I like to use a brush that's not dense at all. The one here is from Morphe, and I like to go in with very light layer of powder. So I'm using the Huda Beauty Banana here. I believe this one's called Banana Bread. Just go out with a very light layer. Make sure to even out the creases before you apply the powder first, because you don't want to set the creases in place. And now I also avoid baking for another reason under the eyes. I noticed that the more powder I add under my eyes, the more it kind of undoes all the concealing I did underneath. So it kind of takes me back and reverses use what I already did to cover up my under eye circles. I believe it might be because I have some hollows underneath the eyes. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Let me know in the comments below if you feel the same way. But the more powder I add underneath, it just looks horrible for me. So I try to avoid that. Now for the face, if you are using some cream products for the rest of your makeup, like cream bronzer or cream blush, make sure to go ahead and do all that before you use the powder, because the cream products might interfere with the powder and it might not sit well on your face. So I just did my bronzer and blush, and now I am ready for powder. I want to mention the tool you use does matter for how your powder looks. This was a recent discovery of mine, and I can't believe that nobody else is talking about this, which is crazy to me, because this powder puff from Beauty Blender is a lifesaver. Ever thought about how much of a difference something like this could make in how your makeup looks? Just makes powder sink into your pores and just kind of blur things out and disappear, and it almost looks like you don't even have powder on. It's amazing. I can't say enough good things about this. Make sure you try it out and let me know what you think. So using the puff, I go into my powder. This is, again, I'm using the Huda powder, and dab it in and then set it onto the spots on my T-zone and around my nose where I tend to get super oily, and on my forehead. I also like to go under my contour to really snatch the face and clean up underneath. And then I like to use a big powder brush to set everything in place. So usually for this, I like my Ilia translucent powder because this doesn't give any color and doesn't change what's underneath, but it does blur out the pores and just make the skin look really nice without looking heavy, and sets everything in place. So I really love this powder. I press it onto the skin. Again, I'm using a big fluffy brush, but I am not swiping it all over the face. I am simply just dabbing and pressing it onto the skin. So we're all done. I finished the rest of my face, and we are ready to go with this foundation that just looks very flawless in my opinion. Here's kind of what it looks like. I did add some highlighter, and just when you get everything else in your base right before you put the foundation on, it just helps it last longer, helps my oils not come through as fast as I sometimes do if I don't moisturize. And I get dry patches everywhere when I put my foundation on if I haven't used the right products underneath. And I know it's a lot of steps, but trust me, when you follow this process, your foundation will look amazing, and you'll never go back to not prepping your skin and using the right products. So again, give it a try and let me know in the comments below what you think, if these tips were helpful to you, and if you have any other tricks you want to let us know. I'd love to know what you guys think. And again, if you enjoy these types of videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. That really helps my channel a lot. And I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!